Welcome to Comfort Havoc number 2. Racist man tells woman she dropped her coronavirus video. Alright, so I attempted to make this video before. It got messed up. So we're going to attempt to do this again. Alright, from the top. A man in Burnaby, I have no idea if I'm saying that right, so let me spell it out for you. Burnaby was caught on video telling an Asian woman she dropped her coronavirus. The video shows the two people in the parking lot where the woman gets out of her car to confront the man. Related Chinese groups seek public apology from the racist red lady. Okay, which one of them was the Asian person? Okay, because that just like messed me up. It says Chinese groups seek public apology from racist rant lady. Police transparency. That would be the shit written in red. Let us begin. A man told the woman and her mother that they dropped their coronavirus, but the two didn't realize what he had said until a moment later. Then the woman confronted the man, who stood outside his car, and repeated it. She told him that what he said was very racist, which is true. Then the man replied, "Great, wow," or "Wow, great." Then he said he made some comment about 10 different people. The video cuts off at that point, but numerous people shared it in the last couple of days, including the woman it happened to. "I can't believe some people can be like this," she said on Instagram. To get factual information about the illness is what the coronavirus corona is and its symptoms. For Vancouver News, check it out. Okay, so this happened in Vancouver. I'm sorry, I'm going to play this video now. It was posted by Chris Campbell. I'm going to attempt to play this video now. Okay. There we go. Hold on. Back it on up. Okay. Oh, for bloody sake. Alright, so this is going to look fracked up on here, but here we go.
Hi, I'm so sorry, but I think that was a very racist comment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, great. I said you dropped your coronavirus.
Yeah, because you can't just look at me and just. Hi, I'm so sorry, but I think that was a very racist comment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, great. I said you dropped your coronavirus.
Yeah, because you can't just look at me and just.
Okay. I was hoping that they would go into more detail about that, but clearly it wasn't more detail. Okay. So let me tell y'all where I stand on that. Alright. If you're gonna be racist, you're just gonna be racist. And I don't let that shit slide. I don't give a damn if you're black, white, or Asian. I don't give a damn about that. If you're gonna be racist, I'm gonna call you on that shit. Because Kung Fu Havoc number 2 is mostly about Kung Fu. But as far as it comes to racism, you will probably find more racist videos on this channel than you will find of Kung Fu, my horrible ass singing, or anything like that. Now let me explain this to y'all. I, personally, don't have the right to be a racist. I am Cherokee, I am black, and I am white. Alright, I am all three of those rolled into one simple, ugly soul. And I call people on it if they are black, if they are white, if they are Asian. Now, before you go saying, "Oh, you left off Mexicans and all that stuff." Okay, so when I speak of Asians, that includes Native Americans, Mexicans, South Americans that are of Native American descent, etc. Let me explain that for all of you who don't know shit about science or history. Native Americans came out of Asia over 150,000 years ago and staked their claim here in the United States and in Canada and in South America. Canadians call the Native Americans the First Nations people. Native Americans are called Native American Indians here, or indigenous in America. If you are of Aztec, Incan, Maya, and Amazonic descent in South America, guess what? Your asses are fucking Asian. And scientifically speaking, there are only 3 ethnicities on the planet. So, sadly, they call Asians Mongoloids. Then they call white people Caucasian. And then they call black people Negress. Google that shit. They try to say it's 5, but it's actually only 3. Okay? So here's where you fall into your category if you are of Asian descent. If you are Mexican, because Mexicans are also of Native American descent, for those who don't know. If you are Aztec, Incan, and Mayan, who also splintered off from the Mexico area and cut down through Panama, some stayed, some went further down into South America, etc., etc., some went to Amazon. And if you look at their faces, all of them look right damn Asian. So there you go. Now, if you are black, that includes Africa, Jamaica, some people in Brazil who were slaves there, Barbados, anywhere where you had African descent and your ancestors were slaves and bought there, you fall into the black category. Now, if you are white, you're just white. Alright, whether you are Russian, European, French, some Canadians, from Brazil, and you're just of European descent. So anybody who of European descent, you're all just white people. Alright? So let me clarify that. So when you make racist stuff, James here comes after you and calls you on it. This dude was a European dude from Canada who made some racist statement to some Asian chicks and her mother, or some Asian chick and her mother, according to what I just read here. So, you know, me being multicultural, I don't have the right to be a racist, but I got the right to call you on your racist shit. And if you've been watching my channel for as long as it's been on, then you know my political affiliation and why I do not like the red-headed troll in charge, because he does not like Native Americans, and he tolerates people who's brown, but they have to be a certain kind of brown, like my shoulders, you know. And I don't have time in my world for racism. And why is racism a thing? Because no one wants to sit down on their asses and address it out of fear that they're going to get punched in the mouth. And they just might, because something that comes out their mouth might very well be mouth punch worthy, you know. So this young man who just all out decided, I'm going to tell this racist woman and her mother that it's their fault that we have the coronavirus. Okay. This is the same racist bullshit that Margaret Cho did with SARS. Severe Asian Racist Syndrome. Alright? SARS. Now, I love Margaret Cho, and she's fucking awesome. Hi, Margaret. But the fact that this guy decided to follow exactly what Margaret Cho said with SARS, only using the coronavirus. You, because you're Asian, you drop the coronavirus. Okay, 2 things. Unless this woman is like a scientific engineering genius, I'm pretty sure she didn't put that shit in a bottle and just drop it in her own people's country to see what would fucking happen. Now, granted, there have been experiments that shit like that has happened. Every military on Earth has had some kind of scientific experiment. Whether y'all want to believe that or not, that's up to you. But when it comes all-heartedly down to racist shit, it doesn't get any more racist than you blaming an Asian person for a disease that outbreaked over there. I get your fears, because the same shit happened many, many years ago with SARS. But it does not give you the right to blame every Asian person for SARS or the coronavirus. It's a scientific fact. You can't go back in time and blame the first person who brought smallpox to America and wiped out thousands of Native American tribes while they're trying to find a cure for the shit. You can't go back in time and blame the first person in America who brought the flu here. Because prior to the European takeover of America, Native Americans was damn near disease-free. You know, I'm pretty sure you don't believe that, but that's okay. But for the most part, Native Americans didn't just die off until they started catching European diseases because their bodies didn't have antibodies for that shit. Then all of a sudden, when they started catching European diseases, they had to come to the Europeans to get inoculated. Come on, people. History doesn't always tell the full truth. There's a big-ass thing in history. There's black, white, and the biggest part of history is covered in gray. That's why when you watch all those cowboy and Indian movies, the cowboys are always the good guys. It's not always the truth. I didn't know that until I found out that I was partially Native American, because when I first started reading, my very first comic book was a cowboy named Jonah Hex. You can imagine how twisted I felt about myself after finding out that my father's mother was a Cherokee. My father's mother's mother was a Cherokee. My mother's mother is a Cherokee or a half Cherokee. We don't really know because she was adopted, but any fucking how. You can imagine how bad I felt as I got older, realizing that I hated my own fucking people because cowboy and Indian movies made my people seem like the bad guys, and they never gave it a point of view from the Native American side. So, if you are Asian and I just pissed you off, I'm sorry. But I'm really mad about this guy who decides to tell this Asian woman that it's her fault that they have the coronavirus in Canada. You know, a disease that is genetically made and you have genetically proof that it is made probably has a genetic cure. But until you can prove that, it's probably not a good idea for you to blame every Asian person on the planet, you fucking racist. I'm James Williams Jr. This is Comfort Habit number 2. Be seeing you.